Hi, this is Dr. Arnie Schuster, Chair of TheraManager DocuTrack. Welcome to this video series on QuicDoc. In this video, I will present a QuicStart tutorial for using QuicDoc. Upon opening QuicDoc for the first time, you will need to use the System Administrator user ID and password. The default user ID is admin, and the default password is password. Now, the first step you should take is to change the default password to something more secure. Password can be hacked instantly. So after logging on, go to the File menu, go to Administration, and go to Change Login Password. Enter the default password, and then enter a more secure password, and then verify it and click OK. Now you may want to exit and log back on to make sure the password works. The System Administrator logon is reserved for the person who can add users, configure the system, set system preferences, and more. In larger practices, you may have an admin staff person for the system administrator. But in a solo practice, you would be the system administrator as well as the clinician. The system administrator can't do notes, so in addition to the system administrator logon, you'll need to set yourself up as a clinician. So now that we've changed the admin password, we can add users or providers to the system. By the way, you can simply close the reminder screen or minimize it by clicking on the minus button right here. So you can get to the users view to add a user by either clicking on the users label on the task pane, or by clicking users from the view menu. Now once you've done that, you can right-click in the user list and click New User, or go up to the Users menu and click New User. Most people will use the first initial of their first name and last name for a user ID. So I'll use a Schuster for my user ID. And then I'll enter my last name and my first name, and I can enter a signature block or how I want my name to appear underneath of signatures. I can also add the address, city, state, zip, phone number, fax number. A title is important, as well as a discipline. If you add a discipline, then you can filter on our scheduler, you can filter a list of all psychologists or all social workers or all psychiatrists for the scheduling. Physicians and for nurse practitioners, a DEA number and an NDEA number, and you can add the clinician's NPI number here as well. So once we're done, we can set up a password and then verify that password. Again, remember to create a strong password and not one that can be hacked very easily. You can also set this user or provider to have system admin rights, and that will allow this user to do all of the same things that a system administrator can do. Click OK when you're done, and you'll see we've added a user or provider to the system in addition to the system administrator. The next thing we'll do is we'll go to Setup, and we'll go to Report Headers, and we'll add a report header of how we want our practice name to appear, or our agency name to appear on notes and reports. And I've clicked New, I've entered a practice header, and I've clicked Save, and then I've set this as the default header to use for notes. The next step is we'll want to add insurance companies and referral sources. So for referral sources, again, you can click on the referral sources link under Views, or you can go to the View menu and click Referral Sources. From here, we can right-click on the referral source list and click New Referral Source, or go up to Referral Sources and click New Referral Source here. And from here, we can add in a referral source, say the county health department, and then we can add an address, and we can also add a phone number, contact person, email address, and so on. So now we have a referral source. Next, we'll go down and create an insurance company. I clicked on the insurance company link on the task pane this time. Again, I'll right-click, click New Insurance Company, or I'll go up to the Insurance Company menu and click New Insurance Company. And for this, I'll enter, say, Aetna Insurance, and again, I'll add an address, a city, state, and zip. So now I have a referral source, an insurance company, I have my users. Now I can start adding patients. So I'll go to the Patients view, and I'll go ahead and I'll add a new patient. Again, right-click, New Patient, or Patients, New Patient. So here there are some required fields. So the first one would be the last name, and then the first name. You can enter a middle initial, a salutation, which would be something like Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. An account number. A gender is required, male, female, or you can put other. I'll go ahead and select male, and then I'll enter a date of birth. It will automatically calculate the age based on today's date and the date of birth. And then I'll add an address, city, state, and zip code. Finally, I'll enter a provider that's assigned to this patient, and that provider is going to be able to write notes for that patient. I can select a primary insurance company, and remember I had entered an insurance company. I can add a referral source, the referral type. There's a pick list of items, and then a reason for referral. Once I've done that, I can click Save and Close, and I have my first patient. Now I can begin to do notes for my patient. So in order to do a note, you can right-click on the documentation menu and go to New Note and select among one of the predefined templates or notes that we have in the system. You can also right-click on the Notes panel right here, New Note, and select the kind of note that you want. I'll start by doing an intake note to give you an idea as to how the system works and the flow of the system. So I'll click Intake Note. First, I need to log on as a different user because system admins can't can't do notes. I'll minimize my reminder screen. I'll right-click after selecting this patient, and I'll say New Note. Great. So as you can see, there are a number of sections on the left side, like identifying information, previous treatment, diagnosis, and so forth, that I can select as part of this document template to do my note. There are other sections, and then there's a psychosocial history. This is a very comprehensive note. You can, and I'll show this in a later video, you can completely customize the look and feel of this note. So you can remove sections, you can add sections, you can even create your own sections. You can reorder sections. So the way this note looks can be completely customized. So we'll start with our session information screen, and we'll enter a service. I'll just enter 90834, and actually that's a 45-minute psychotherapy session. So rather than doing that, I'll clear it. I'll go to a pick list by clicking the little button with the 3 dots, and I'll select psychiatric diagnostic evaluation from the pick list. You can enter a location, whether it was a scheduled visit, if there were others present, and so on. You can also enter the start time and the end time of the appointment, and you can set up different programs and select a program associated with that patient. From here, you can just work down the list of sections. So for identifying information, the patient is currently, say, living with his spouse. The history was provided by the patient, and for a narrative, the patient entered treatment for whatever reason. From here, you can click Presenting Problems, and you can select from a pick list, depression, it's chronic, let's say anxiety, which is also chronic. You can select stressors, such as conflict with coworkers, let's say difficulty with finances, and so on. I'll skip some sections. I'll go to diagnosis, and if you know the diagnosis code, you can enter that. Otherwise, you can go to a pick list of diagnoses, and I can say major DEP, and let's say major depression, single episode mild. And I'll go ahead and I'll remove, by clicking on the X, remove the dysthymia. Okay, now I can go down to, let's say, mental status. Click on normal mental status, and from here I can change this mood to, say, depressed. Or I can select off the menu. If I go to eye contact, I can click fair. So I can either type in here or I can enter from the pick lists. There are numerous pick lists, clinical pick lists in the system, lists of problems, associated objectives and interventions that you can use, or you can type in the fields. At any point, you can click preview to preview your note to see what you've got so far. And remember, I'd entered a report header. This is the session information and the rest of my note, and it's awaiting a signature. I can either print this out and sign it, or most of you will be using electronic signatures and sign this electronically with a signature pad or a mouse or a timestamp signature. We would suggest that you go through each of the sections to familiarize yourself with what the sections have, and then you can customize each of the notes by adding, removing sections, or creating your own sections. I hope this video covers the basics to help get you started using QuicDoc. In other videos, I will show you more advanced features of QuicDoc. Thank you for watching and have a great day.